But first, on the deaths of these two Australian brothers, Ali and Ibrahim Bazi, who were killed alongside Ibrahim's wife, Shuruk Hamoud, by an Israeli airstrike in South Lebanon. Yesterday, I was contacted by the imam of a mosque in South Sydney, in the area where the younger brother Ibrahim was from. This same mosque, Al Rahman in Kingsgrove, has controversially been holding commemoration services for foreign Hezbollah fighters right here in Australia since the terror group began attacking Israel in October, including, as we revealed on the show on Tuesday, one for Hussein Ibrahim Salameh, a Hezbollah terrorist from Lebanon, being planned for tonight, the memorial service tonight here in Sydney. The Imam, Sheikh Youssef Naba, alerted me yesterday to Ibrahim Bazi and his wife's death hours before the news had broken, claiming he had been killed when Israel bombed a civilian's house, a claim the mosque repeated on its Facebook page sometime later, saying Mr. Bazi had gone to Lebanon to bring his bride to be with him back in Australia. Now, Australian authorities at that stage could not confirm the claims that we were told. The Imam refused to put us in touch with the man's family and declined an invitation to come on the program himself, saying our community doesn't trust Sky News, but still imploring us to criticise politicians for their silence on the issue. Well, not long after that, ABC News ran an interview online with the family, repeating these claims, a story that was faithfully picked up by some other media outlets. The impression these created was that this was an innocent family targeted by a cruel and indiscriminate Israeli Defense Force. But within a matter of hours, a very different picture emerged. Hezbollah, a proscribed terror organisation in Australia, had announced the older Ali Bazi was one of their own fighters and claimed he was martyred while on duty. The caskets of both the brothers and the bride were draped in the Hezbollah flag during a military-type funeral. A senior medic told Middle East news service The National it seemed that Ali Bazi had been targeted in the attack. Today, the Attorney General Mark Dreyfus fronted the media.
We are aware of the announcement made by Hezbollah claiming links to one of the Australians killed. We are seeking to establish the facts. However, Hezbollah is a listed terrorist organisation under Australian law.
It's a nothing response. No real clarity from a government that has either lost track of at least one of its own citizens, who by all accounts so far appears to have become so radicalised that he was fighting for a terror group overseas. Or it's a government that's withholding what they really know about this family. Instead, the Attorney General took a swipe at the former government.
Our government dealt with the regrettably unconstitutional laws that were passed by the former government that provided for the stripping of citizenship in certain circumstances.
Well, here, Mr. Dreyfus is referring to a High Court ruling that it's unconstitutional to continue to detain convicted Algerian terrorist Abdul Nasser Ben Brika after then Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton cancelled his Australian citizenship 3 years ago in an attempt to keep him in prison. He had been deemed still a terrorist when his sentence had finished. Mr. Dreyfus has been incredibly testy about the recent overturning of another law by the High Court that saw 148 criminals released from indefinite detention, only for 3 of them to be rearrested on fresh charges shortly after.
I will not be apologising for upholding the law. I will not be apologising for pursuing the rule of law, and I will not be apologising for acting. Do not interrupt.
Well, he later did apologise to our reporter who he snapped at, who was only asking a reasonable question. On the latest matter, we put more reasonable questions we believe viewers deserve answers to the relevant government departments. Were these Australian brothers born here in Australia? If not, how did they get their citizenship? How was Ibrahim Bazi's wife able to get a visa if her brother-in-law had links to Hezbollah? Were either of the brothers or other family members on an ASIO watch list? As yet, we've received no response. So yes, Sheikh, I will criticise the silence of politicians over this, but probably not how you'd like me to. I'll criticise the lack of clarity about a Sydney man who appears to have left the country years ago, radicalised enough to fight for a brutal foreign terror group. Hezbollah is a Shiite militia group based in Lebanon and backed by Iran. It's inserted itself into Israel's war with Hamas when it began firing rockets into the Jewish state the day after the October 7 massacre, seeking to distract Israel from its war with the other terrorists on her border. There have been daily military activities in southern Lebanon, including airstrikes, rockets and missile fire. Australia has had a clear warning against travelling to the area since mid-October, yet somehow Ibrahim Bazi was able to go there. Shadow Home Affairs Minister James Patterson raised an important point this afternoon.
It's normal practice for the Australian government to seek to prevent people from departing the country if they know that they are going to fight with the terrorist organisation. We don't know what our intelligence and security agencies knew and when they knew it, but I think it is important once the government has established the facts here that they are upfront and honest about this and they disclose that to the public in an appropriate way.
We will be making sure we keep the pressure on the government to get those disclosures.